Industries. Already starting off interesting by the map choice. And take a look at the bottom left as we look upon the one and only team Ence's Serral.
His opponent in the red playing Protoss from Denmark. It's MaxPax. The legacy of Baby Knight lives on, Zombie Grub.
Is that what it is? I like it. I like it. Well, MaxPax is one of the most promising young players of StarCraft, basically, since Clem. You know, we kind of had a lot of our top-tier European players kind of come up, you know, one after another, all starting off very young. Serral is, you know, still young, but of course was even younger 3 or 4 years ago when he started to really dominate. And it's really been just the clash of the youngsters, and MaxPax is just seems to be the most recent one who's not just the MaxPaxer. Oh, okay, well that's not a great start. Who's not just known for his builds, but also for his very good takes on the matchup. Not the most brilliant way to start off a very stressful best of 5.
Yeah. Always interesting, this thing where like everybody's making sure to pylon block, or rather block the expansion, usually without the pylon, but this time around with it for MaxPax. Really making sure that Serral didn't get the hatchery on location. And Serral, it seems like he's one of the few Zergs that sometimes will go for pull first to try and make sure he gets the expansion on location, and MaxPax knows of that, so that's why he went for the pylon here. With just the block, it might not have been enough. As soon as he would have gotten chased by the drone, that would have gone down. MaxPax, what I'm the most impressed about him, like obviously he's strong in many aspects of the game, but his transitions. These guys, he will open Stargates into Glaives, into Blink, into Disruptors, and they'll just keep on teching and teching and teching to other stuff, and he does it beautifully while throwing in a good amount of aggression.
Huh. Serral is playing a little bit differently than normal. He's adding on a very fast Roach Warren. MaxPax gets his Zealot surrounded, which is also not a great start, as that, I mean, it wouldn't help that much against the Roaches, but it was supposed to do a little bit more, at the very least Scout, which it absolutely is not going to do. The Adept now comes out, but you know, the Probe going down wasn't just bad because you're not supposed to lose it in general. It's bad because it's the Scout until the Adept. So usually there's no chance for a Zerg player to ever do a build like this because the Probe stuck around long enough and saw no third hatchery or bought enough time for the Adept to come in. The Adept does finally come in, but it's such a short map. This isn't the fastest Scout ever. I'm really worried for MaxPax. He's probably very surprised to be the one that's getting cheesed.
Yeah, and actually he saw the Roach here. So he's trying to move back with the Adepts. He's taking a lot of damage with the Adept that's out on the map. Can he make it home with that one? That would be a very important unit. He dodged the one Roach that was already on the other side of the map and that was looking for the intercept. It is multiple shield batteries here, and it's Stalkers, but he's supply block right now. That Nexus will free him a little bit of supply. And Serral, I think he did this to react to the pylon block because he knew he was going to shut that down and deny any scouting for a while. It would be so hard for MaxPax to react on time, but now he's getting shield batteries. Let's see if he can hold.
And this one is overcharged, and it's going to be the first one to go down. Also, the second one is going to take the same corrosive bile, but oh my god, he's actually energizing the second shield battery. Came in so well. Oh, I totally forgot that was an option, but that was cool. It is now over. The next shield batteries are not done, and the floodgates are open. Simply put, you don't have much production as a Protoss player this early on. Warpgate is only just going to finish, but that's one single pylon that is going to go down. Serral takes a cheeky first victory. That's not how MaxPax wanted that game to go at all.
Yeah, Serral known for his great macro games and not necessarily cheesing a whole lot here. He just did a very specific build to the map, you know, shortest rush distance out of all the maps in the map pool currently, and adapted very well to what MaxPax was trying to do. I'm sure these two meet very often on the ladder, so maybe recently MaxPax did that, and so I was like, oh, this is actually really good. Like if I play a standard game, maybe I'm a little bit more behind than usual, so that'd be a good idea to throw in a cheese if we play in a tournament. It goes for Ling Roach Ravager, and MaxPax, we saw him, he actually saw it almost as early as you can see it because he saw the first Roach coming out of that second base. But the fact that he forced the hatchery away from the natural, that actually played in his disfavor because Serral was reinforcing even quicker. He was spawning units closer to his opponent's wall, which is where he wanted to attack.
That was a good idea for so many different reasons. I really like that response. The killing the probe started it off, you know, but then knowing that also you're going to have a kind of forward natural hatchery at the third base that's just a little bit closer to the reinforcement point. I mean, that was a great use of the actual like game itself that was unfolding, as well as the map, as well as it being the first game. You got yourself some momentum real quick and you played totally out of the standard of what you're expected to do. I really love that start for Serral. MaxPax is going to have to, I guess, readjust here, which I wouldn't find it difficult for him. That's one thing about the players who kind of come up by being aggressive and cheesy and unique, is that usually adapting is actually their forte. So let's hope that he, mentality is going all right for this guy, as he is young, but he is really making a splash on the scene. In the top right for Storm Gaming now, he is MaxPax.
His opponent from Finland, playing for Team Ants Gaming, it is Serral. It's crazy the difference in earnings between the two. $900,000 almost on one side, and MaxPax currently only at $11,000. It feels like he's got a lot of catching up to do, but Serral, he might be the one ending the year with $1 million in earnings if he just keeps up with his winning ways.
Might just. Wouldn't be surprised. I'm also not surprised by Serral actually taking one of the fastest hatcheries really ever possible. And I'm not surprised by MaxPax going for the Forge. Oh, I actually love this. This is really fun because, I mean, MaxPax might anticipate Serral taking an absurdly quick hatchery and kind of being focused on getting his natural hatchery, playing his perfect game, because certainly that's what Serral likes to do. Where a lot of other Zergs will just like, they will give up and just be like, yep, I'm always going to take my natural at my third. Serral pushes the issue a little bit, goes a little bit sooner on that. And, well, might not be willing to pay attention for a cannon rush. His Overlord is hovering.
There's already the second probe in the wall here for MaxPax, so curious exactly what else is going to start. I guess the Cybercore in a second, as he completely walls off the probe. Is he going to want to push that one out? Not yet, just one cannon in the first place. And the drones staying there make it very difficult for that pylon to be cancelled, because then the drones could start getting in, maybe even attacking the probe. He pushes the probe out with another pylon. Beautiful by MaxPax.
This kid knows how to cannon rush. He is, I feel like one of the scariest cannon rushers out there. Oh, does get the first probe caught, so it takes a lot of hull damage, but a second probe is here to back him up. He's going to cancel that one pylon that was just made to block. Cannon finishes up. The second cannon looks like it also might finish. The drones aren't pulled into it, but the drones are pulled into it, then they're going to lose their lives. It is canceled, but a second one, a third one's coming up here. MaxPax is not giving up despite being low on probes. As the second one goes down, the first one comes back into play. The spine crawlers are on the way, however. That first one being done so close to being finished might be able to take out the second cannon that was put down. The second spine crawler also finishes with not a lot of health, but enough to help out.
And now there's a queen. The spine will actually be saved. Serral moved that back on time here, and now the cannons, they are not really in range to be attacking any of the drones. They're not even attacking the hatchery either. Oh, the spine actually moves closer a little too quick. And MaxPax has not yet expanded behind this. I wonder if the plan may have been to proxy something like a robo, but he lost both of the probes that he had there, so that possibility completely thrown out the window. And his perfect wall, okay, he squeezes another probe out thanks to a pylon beautifully placed in the wall, and he's gonna go for Stargate as part of the wall as well.
Oh, I really think that MaxPax was hopeful and probably even used to a lot of Zerg players not taking that as seriously as they should. You know, if Serral didn't build the spine crawlers because he was like, it's good enough, that would have continued to succeed. But the spine crawlers end up stopping them from ever actually reaching the hatchery, even take out that one zealot. MaxPax is kind of scrambling to make something out of this. He's broken the eggs, but it's not a very pretty omelet yet. And this third probe coming out, I don't think is going to make it any prettier. Well, the Adept is helping as well, but here's the spine crawler. The queen almost has a transfuse, already has a transfuse actually. And that's only one cannon. That's not enough. Even with the two Adepts, the spine crawler is going to win out.
Yeah, Serral with some sick defense here. He found the one position in which the spine could actually shoot the pylon and power two of the cannons. Then he's like, okay, you've only got the one. I'm going to kill that before the shield battery is up. Now the shield battery finally finished, but there's no more cannon At the spine plus twins, there will be... Wait, why is he helping the cannon? That's never going to be powered again.
Yeah, just one of those silly things that in the moment even you probably are like, wait, why did I do that? A bit flustered, right? Like he committed so much to this and it didn't work, which either he usually doesn't commit so hard or it works. Like I'm thinking that's most of MaxPax's games. So when he does it and it doesn't, he's maybe a little flustered, trying to figure his way back into this game, but having delayed his Nexus for so long, I don't think it's going to be a very easy game for him. Stargate comes out. Oracle is going to be instantly denied super easily. And Serral is just going to be able to execute his macro now.
Yeah, and I mean, he's going to start crisp spreading also, like, kind of early or comfortably given all things. Like, he has multiple queens. The Oracle actually flies in, takes a lot of damage. Ooh, you don't want that to happen. And the third hatchery is already on the way. I like that Serral didn't cut any corners. You know, going for link speed always will make you extra safe against a lot of stuff. And always will give you initiative to be aggressive yourself when that wall finally starts opening up, which... How is MaxPax even going to get out? What does he break here? The gateway?
Yeah, I would expect the gateway first. Especially depending on what actual build he's going to go into, which we're still kind of waiting for. I don't think he knows. He actually starts up a Phoenix, then decides not to. Well, okay, he's going to invest into a second Stargate first, which does make sense. And then we'll see if he actually plans to play into Phoenix, maybe into the Void Rays. Serral is going to have such a fantastic economy, though, that even if there is a surprise, aside from DTs literally like killing all detection, which of course can't happen, no Twilight Console, I don't think a surprise is going to be good enough. Serral should absolutely run away with this game.
He starts a lair. I expect maybe a Roach Warren. Yeah, there it is, to be safe. If there were to be like Lave Adepts, you kind of need that. But he saw that there was an initial Stargate, so that would obviously be very delayed. Not going to be too much opportunity for a follow-up scout, as there's no more Overlord on the other side of the map here. But I guess as he gets lair soon, might be a good opportunity to just morph an Overseer, fly that across the map, and make sure he knows exactly what's going on the other side, so we can start reacting accordingly.
I think that would be the perfect plan. I think we actually have MaxPax trying to bump his probe out, but he realizes he can't. He first tried it to the left near the Stargate, then he just tried it on the gateway. So now 100% certain that he can't just push the probe. He's going to kill that gateway like we anticipated.
Well, is the cannon not helping?
But, yeah.
The cannon is chilling.
Yeah, it could have helped. It could have. And they decided not to. There we go.
Hey, you wanted to warp a unit first, maybe?
Yeah, that's actually
here, like, let me help you. The cannon's not even attacking. The cannon was not attacking the links since he was shooting at the gate.
Oh,
and neither.
Whoa.
I mean, he has so many queens, so it makes sense.
Yeah, no, you're right. It makes total sense. Serral is not playing around, man. I feel like old Serral will just take all these opportunities to get further ahead, as in like a macro game, but he is like, I know exactly when to kill this guy. He's got that killer instinct for sure, and I think it's going to work out brilliantly. I mean, it's double Stargate Phoenix, and there's going to be 12 queens, almost 15 queens, actually, at his front door. Phoenix can't do very much there.
It's so fast as well by Serral. Like, he didn't take any risk either. See, if he had made it too close to the wall, that might have been spotted, and then if he gets sniped, it's a disaster. Now he made it far away enough that it was for sure going to finish here. Oh my god, there's so many queens on the other side of the map. There's 13 queens right now and 2 more in production for Serral. He's got the air really well countered. He's got so many Ravagers to start chipping away at this wall. He's going to take down the 2 pylons immediately, empowering perhaps the Stargate. Phoenix is coming, but there's so many queens and transfusions available.
Yeah, I mean, really, units don't even have to die. 1 falls, and that's going to be the only victory for MaxPax. So Serral takes game 2 in very swift fashion, and I mean, it's as convincing as I would have expected, but I thought it was going to be one of those macro games where he just kind of maxes and pushes and wins. But he's making these games convincing based off of aggression and counters and good reads. So still a very different best of 5, but one that is going into Serral's favor. So with that 2-0, we are going to head to a break. When we return, we'll see if MaxPax can finally put a point on the board. A 2-0 start for Serral, perhaps not unexpected, but I'm sure MaxPax has a couple more builds up his sleeve. Move on to 2,000 atmospheres for Game 3. Todd, you're the one that called MaxPax to win. What's going to happen from here on out?
Well, I know what I hope is going to happen is that maybe he plays a little bit more conservative in the start and doesn't try to overcommit to some, you know, crazy pylon block or counter rush and aggression. So hopefully that's what we see. He's here starting in the top right-hand side. 2K Atmospheres playing as the Red Protoss. From Team Sidestorm Gaming, it's MaxPax.
In the bottom left, we have the Blue Zerg Team Ence's Serral.
Both players got quite a bit of warm-up in this matchup in the group stage. I mean, MaxPax only had one match, I guess, technically against Stefano, but it was a 2-0 swift victory. Serral on the other side had 4 Protosses in his group, and he 2-0'd Harstem, 2-0'd Art, 2-0'd Hellraiser, and only lost one single map to Mana. So while he did lose one map, it's pretty convincing overall, and definitely got to practice also quite a bit for that matchup already going into this match.
Right, yes. And I think Mana is the type of player to, you know, nab a couple of surprise victories off of a player such as Serral. It does only happen once in, well, that was like 8, it was 9 as EVPs, right? So still a very good win record for Serral in this matchup. I agree with your first statement here about MaxPax. I hope that he plays a more fundamental game, one that actually showcases that he is a generally good Protoss. I don't mind that he's tried a couple of early tricks, but I think what happens is that he can't really decide if he wants to dedicate, and then by the time he does, it's like, well, now it's over dedication, right? Like, it's not going as swimmingly to throw off the Zerg as it probably is in a lot of other games that he plays. Like, he probably does just enough, commits just enough to throw off the Zerg, while then adapting, you know, behind the scenes, going back to his base and transitioning into all those good things you're pointing out. But he didn't get to do that in any game so far. He either got all-in once in the first game, or a second game he also got all-in, but to be honest, it was already so far gone because he committed so much. I want that just enough pressure to get him into the momentum and then into that really solid macro game that we know MaxPax has.
I wonder if there could be an issue with nerves and everything, because this is definitely the biggest match he's ever been in his life. I was looking at his tournament history, you know, like, you know, he's won some Open Cup, but it's not the same as playing here at DreamHack, being in the playoffs as part of the 8 players that qualified for the upper brackets, and against Serral, no less. So it definitely feels like with newcomers, there is sometimes going to be, you know, a nervousness issue, which it might take, you know, 1 or 2 tournaments or 1 or 2 matches to get over here on the biggest stage. But I don't feel like he was necessarily playing bad. It's just that Serral knew exactly how to counter the first 2 builds that were in there. Now, luckily, we're back to normal territory. MaxPax is opening with a Stargate, and I expect more of a normal game. Serral, though, in the first 2 games, he was the one playing ultra aggressive. Now being on 3 match points, up 2 maps, does he want to still do that, or does he want to play and show that he can win a standard game, which, I mean, we all know he can anyway?
I wouldn't be surprised if he goes for a mid-game all-in, even doing the queen push that we know is still somewhat popular. So I wouldn't be surprised by that, but I do think that the last 2 games were a lot off of reactions. I'm not sure he started both those games thinking that I'm going to all-in him, but the opportunities were so golden that it just was like, it was the perfect plan. It was an opportunity you couldn't pass up. Whereas for this one, it might be a little more of him, yeah, forcing the issue, deciding to be aggressive when MaxPax is actually playing a pretty normal game. Very fast third Nexus coming out here right after the second gateway was put down, and then around 345, about as fast as you could ever get, because you also didn't grab any additional Stargate units, just the 1 Void Ray to push away the Overlords.
And when Serral played against Harstem on this map during the groups, it was actually a game in which he played fairly passive. He just kept on teching and building up his drone count, made it to Hive Tech. And Harstem actually attacked, or tried to attack, before they were going to be Hive units. And ended up kind of overextending, lost everything, and then ended up tapping out. But yeah, Serral, that was one of those games where he was doing the things we usually see him do. But on the other side, MaxPax right now, with the Fleet Beacon and the second Stargates, we've seen a lot of Void Rays with Flogged Veins. We've also seen carriers being rushed pretty quickly.
I believe we also saw a Tempest game, right? I believe DNS did it. Granted, it was on Blackburn, if I remember correctly, which does have a unique U shape that can abuse that type of build. But since it's MaxPax, I'm just gonna hold on here and wait to see what pops out. If it's Void Rays, it's a little bit more of the early edition of the Void Ray play, of the Stargate play. Once the Void Rays got buffed, people were experimenting with it. Kind of got figured out though. So yeah, I was actually hoping it wasn't the Void Rays. It is the carrier. And I don't think that's a fake, although it is awfully timed. The Overlord's right over there, peeking in, being like, oh, okay, that's how it is.
Serral probably sees this, is thinking, am I a joke to you or what? Straight to carrier? Really? And it's kind of crazy how once upon a time, if there was a fleet beacon, it would always have been for Anion Pulse Crystals and Phoenixes, and nowadays it's anything but that. It's either Void Rays, Tempest, or carriers. But yeah, in this case, this gets perfectly spotted. And Serral, knowing that now, he must be feeling super comfortable. He can just drone up as much as he wants for a very long time and decide exactly what units he's going to go for to try and counter this. It's a Hydra Den and Baneling Nest, so he might just be playing a bust style with a lot of Hydras and Banelings on the ground.
I think that's exactly what he's going to go for, busting the third base, or maybe even a natural, actually, depending on which area is more undefended. The carriers can harass, but despite having, you know, a large health pool and obviously the trick with the interceptors being the actual attacking units, enough queens can still push this back. And that's also been the problem with like the Void Ray Flux Veins thing, is that the Zerg players just like, they identified it so quickly, they knew how many queens to get, and they were always in the right position. Because that's what really makes this a bit tricky, is that the air units can fly over, you know, certain zones that land units can't. And that's the only thing that really makes it tricky. Otherwise, knowing, you know, 100% that it's carriers, yeah, Serral's got enough anti-air. He doesn't just get overwhelmed here. So the most MaxPax is hoping for is to actually get a couple of drones. That might have looked odd to kill the rocks like that, but that wasn't his plan. He wanted all of the interceptors to already be ejected before he took the fight. It still doesn't really help his chances, however. One queen goes down, but the interceptors are fallen.
This doesn't really feel worth it right now, to be honest, especially because the queens can keep each other alive here with the transfusions. And MaxPax's transition, if he could make it to Storm early enough, I think he actually would have like a real shot at, you know, trying to take really good fights and doing well. But it feels like this is going to hit hard from Serral if he actually wants to go for a timing, which he's even reconsidering right now because he's droning up a bit.
I mean, he can round out his drones, right? He can be at actually a good drone, and he doesn't have to do some type of all-in that cuts him at the knees if it doesn't work. So just rounds it out, gets perfectly saturated on 4 bases. If he starts to bank some minerals, I imagine a fifth hatch goes down, but all of his upgrades have been started up. They're finishing, actually. Significant Hooks is finishing. And an attack on the 4th base, as MaxPax tries to grab it, would not be surprising whatsoever. But again, there's a lot of options open. Some are going to be more, you know, of chokes than others. But if there's not static defense, then that might be an opening that Serral tries to take on. He is headed towards that right side, not just with the army, but also with a lot of creep spread. And it looks like he's not going to wait for that Carapace upgrade to finish. He is going. You
know, I talked earlier about the transitions of MaxPax. I think he transitions so well into one unit to another. I think Serral might have picked up on that. And he was like, well, you want to get 3 units of each? Fine. I'm just going to attack you. You're not going to have enough units to defend. Serral is maxed out at 8 minutes 40, hitting a timing with 112 army supply against 57. So many Hydralisks. He's not even trying to get under the carriers here. He has so many Hydras and Queens that he can just kill the interceptors. The Banelings will get rid of the annoying units on the ground, the Archons and whatever. And I think this is about to be a 3-0, and your prediction will be right, Jess.
Yeah, I think so as well. It's not looking so hopeful for MaxPax. The fast carriers weren't a surprise. They didn't do any damage, and they simply just can't do anything against the macro prowess of Serral, who got to do everything that he wanted. Nothing interrupted him, and now he was taking this series victory, making it look super easy, but definitely don't take this at face value. MaxPax is a very good player. It's just undeniable that Serral is a person who's supposed to even win this tournament, so he can make a player like MaxPax, yeah, look a bit easy.
Serral knew exactly who he was going to face here, and he showed up really prepared. Some good defense, good counter aggression. Serral takes the 3-0, and Max